Hi, I'm the Box Office Wizard bringing you weekend box office predictions and movie review. For today's show, I'm going to give you the actual numbers from this past weekend's box office. They are in. Also, movie news on the Terminator franchise, an update on China release dates for some movies, and also Star Wars Episode 8. Big explosive numbers this weekend came from Split, finished number 1, came in at $40 million for this coming weekend. My prediction was $26.1 million. I was actually the highest out of all the others that make predictions. This movie just had an explosive start, split the competition, blew everybody away. Off to a great start. It'd be interesting to see what it does for the second weekend. But either way, though, great number one start for this movie for its first weekend. And like I said, I can't wait to see what it does next weekend. So, finishing in second place was another debut was Triple X. Finished at $20.1 million. My prediction was $22.8. It's right there on it. What's kind of interesting with this movie was it was actually number 1 in the international market with at least over $50 million. That was the last number I saw. Another one I saw was 53, so we'll just go with 50 for now. But either way, though, no surprise, Vin Diesel is very big globally. So this movie finished about expected, so it's off to a decent start overall. Next was Hidden Figures, dropped from number 1 to number 3, came in at $15.7 million. The NASA ladies had another great weekend. My prediction was $14.6. Pretty good prediction on my part there. It's now at $84 million here in the U.S. Only had about a 22% drop overall. So this movie's just doing very well, and next weekend it'll definitely hit over $100 million here in the U.S. So finishing in fourth was Sing, came in at $9 million. I had a prediction of $7.8 million for this movie. It's now made $250 million here in the U.S., $127 million more overseas. Only a $75 million budget. Definitely going to see Sing 2. Don't know when though, since this movie's still playing very well. So, finishing in fifth was La La Land. Came in at $8.4 million. I made a prediction of $11.3. First week that this movie actually saw a big drop. Before they were actually increases for the most part. So it actually had about a 40% drop. Either way though, $90 million here in the U.S., $85 more million overseas. So it's looking at roughly $175 million worldwide. Still going strong. Oscars aren't even here yet, so this movie will continue to have it's going to die down here some, but once the Oscars hit, and if it does win, it'll definitely have a few good weeks after that too before it's all said and done. Finishing the sixth was Rogue One at $7.2 million. My prediction was $7.8. Right there on that as well. It did cross $1 billion worldwide this past weekend as predicted, and this movie should be wrapping up here in the next few weeks. So, finishing in seventh was Monster Trucks. It came in at it finished with $7 million. I made a prediction of $5.75 million. Like I said, I'm still not seeing the appeal of this movie. I kind of watched some trailers again with it, just not really getting it. It's only made at $23 million here in the overall. So I think it's like $2 million overseas now. It's not very much at all. So, but either way, I don't see the appeal of it. So, but like I said, if you've seen it, let me know what you think of it because I may check it out if I see enough positives about it. So, next was Patriots Day. Came in at $5.75 million. I made a prediction of $6.4. Movie dropped in half. It's a little early to say how well this movie will end up doing, but early indications are it may be a flop. One of the first of the year. There really hasn't been much of movement yet in the international market. I'm not even sure how many markets it's actually playing in overall, but it's got a $45 million budget. I didn't see a ton of advertising with it, so that may help keep the costs down. But it's got to have another week or two, at least where it's making at least $4 or $5 million before maybe even getting somewhere close to that $45 million number just to cover costs for the movie itself. So next was Sleepless, came in ninth, and it made $3.5 million. It was real close with Bye Bye Man this week. I made a prediction of $4.35 million. Had a 55% drop. It's now only at $15 million here in the U.S. Probably next week will be it, and then it'll probably be moving on very quickly to your Cinemarks and all that, and then probably be out on Blu-ray DVD by spring. So, and then rounding out the top 10 was Bye Bye Man. Huge drop, about 75%. A little bit of a surprise since it had such a great week last week. It came in at $3.45 million. I made a prediction of $6.2, so obviously I was way off. But either way, though, this had a very light budget at $7.4 million. So it's doing very well at this point. So movie news, Terminator franchise. James Cameron has actually, his name has popped up with the franchise, and if you didn't know, he actually regains the rights to Terminator in 2019, and according to Deadline, he's actually already working on a project. Obviously, no details, not given details, but it is believed that, or the obvious choice is either it's going to be a reboot, or he's going to continue on with his story from '91. Not real sure yet. We got a couple years here before he even gets the rights to it, but either way, though, the word is that he'd like to make a great conclusion to the Terminator franchise itself. So he has brought on Tim Miller, or wants to, anyways, for director. Obviously, he directed Deadpool, so you're going to get a good movie with that as well. So, but just thought I'd share that news with you in case you are a Terminator fan. Next is China release dates. Resident Evil is actually got a release date of February 17th. I was actually surprised with the China censorship that they're actually getting this movie. Plus, they're also they limit how many movies from outside of China are allowed to play there as well. So, surprised to see that. Actually, good news for Assassin's Creed. They have a release date as well. So that's going to help its number in the international market. Obviously, it hasn't done very well here in the U.S., but it has done okay overseas. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then Triple X is on 2/17, and La La Land is February 14th, Valentine's Day. So, and last but not least, just came out today, Star Wars Episode 8 has a title. If you haven't heard, it's The Last Jedi. So I'm looking very forward to seeing what that means. Obviously, you can think 100 things right now, but either way, though, it's neat to see that it gets a title. So hoping they'll throw a trailer out here by Memorial Day. Not sure if they will or not. Maybe a little bit too early. But either way, though, it's good to hear at least a little bit of news. So, hey, that's it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back on Friday giving you predictions you can count on. They're better than the weatherman. Take care.